Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Aging with Attitude, shown here on Channel 21, Saturday nights 8:30, servicing the Charlotte Greater Metro Market. Thank you for joining us again. Tonight we have a guest, David Brown. David Brown is from the Second Harvest Food Bank of Metrolina. Welcome to the show, David.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. Well, maybe let's start first with, for our viewers, tell us what exactly the Second Harvest Food Bank is and pretty much what the bank does.
The Second Harvest Food Bank of Metrolina, we're the largest hunger relief organization in the area. We cover 19 counties, 14 counties in North Carolina and 5 in South Carolina. Our primary responsibility is to receive food donations in from our various donors throughout the area, process it, sort it, and get it back out to our what we call our partner agencies. And we have over 650 partner agencies in 19 of those counties. And a partner agency, as they're what we refer them to as, that could be a soup kitchen, that can be a pantry, that could be a shelter, that could be the over 150 child hunger programs that we have. It could be a senior box program. Our job as a food bank is to get the food in, sort it, inspect it. It's essentially a big distribution center.
Wow.
Yes.
So who are the type of, name us some of the names that we might know who provide the food to the food bank.
In this area, it's confined to geographical boundaries. So
Okay.
within the 19 counties that we do receive food donations from, in the case of the retailers, it would be Food Lion, it would be Harris Teeter, it would be Walmart, it would be Publix, also some other an independent food chain that we have up in Catawba County. It's actually a big distributor that services a lot of the independent grocers. So those on the retail side would be our largest retail donors. Aldi is another one. And on the food service side, it would be more of like Cisco Food Service, which has a facility here in our territory, U.S. Food Service. And then the remaining donations would come from manufacturers like Purdue Foods up in Concord. We have Tyson Foods down in Union County.
Wow.
We have Snyder Lance right here in town. That's a big food donor of ours. We have Dole Fresh Vegetables, which has a huge facility in Bessemer City and Gaston County. So we get quite a bit from Dole. Those would be the larger food manufacturers that actually donate directly to us from their facilities here, and we actually, in most cases, just pick up the food whenever there's a donation that needs to be made.
How does that work? I mean, do they give you kind of a budget of how much they're going to give you each month? Or is it more, gee, this lot is more than we expected as leftovers that we can provide you? How do the providers determine how much and what they can give you?
Well, 65% of our donations that come into the food bank come from retail, what we call retail reclamation.
Okay.
And having spent 14 years as a food manufacturer's rep, every product that you see in the grocery store shelf has what they call a disposition of product form attached to it. Mm-hmm. It's actually not attached to it, but it's in their computer system. In the event, if it's slightly damaged, or if it's being discontinued, or if the code dates are coming a little bit short on it, it tells that store what to do with the product.
Right.
And the form should hopefully say donate to food bank.
Okay.
So then they'll go ahead and collect those items, whatever they may be. It could be, in this case, it's most of the product is all shelf-stable product. So then it's all picked up whenever their truck makes a delivery of food, and that food's taken back to their distribution center. And then when they accumulate a truckload of product, they call us and say, okay, we have a truckload of food, which all happens to be packed in banana boxes. And then they deliver that trailer directly to us, or we have an outside independent carrier pick it up from the distribution center and brought directly to the food bank, where it's sorted, inspected, and then is put out either us delivering it directly or our agencies can shop at the food bank 5 days a week, and then they have access to all that food that we've inspected and sorted.
So, Second Harvest Food Bank of Metrolina, when was it first established, and is it affiliated with anybody else from?
Yes, it was first established in 1981. The old location, which I did not ever see, I only seen pictures of it, it actually stood in an old wooden building where the Imaginon Theater is now located.
Really?
And so, there was an old wooden building that at that time it was called Metro. It moved to our current facility back in the late 1980s, and that's where we've been ever since. And then we are affiliated with a national organization called Feeding America. And Feeding America is the largest national network of affiliated food banks throughout the country. There's over 205 food banks that are affiliated with Feeding America, and that covers every state, every county within each state of all 50 states in the United States. So Feeding America, they're the ones that make up the boundaries that we cannot drive over to deliver to, because there's another affiliate food bank that handles that area. So in the state of North Carolina, there's a total of 7
Really?
that are all affiliated, and that they cover all 100 counties. There's us right here in Charlotte. We do have a couple branches. We have a branch in Hickory. We also have a branch in Spartanburg through and that's all within our territory. There's another affiliate food bank in Asheville. There's one in Winston-Salem. There's one in Raleigh. There's one in Fayetteville, and there's also one in Elizabeth City.
Okay.
But they're all affiliated with Feeding America. Now, even though we're affiliated, we're all responsible for running our own operation. So we still have to raise our own funds. All of our funds are that we raise are through private donations, corporate donations, writing grants, as each of those other affiliate food banks have to do as well to run their operation. Now, we help each other in the times of natural disaster like a hurricane. A lot of times when the hurricanes come up the coast of North Carolina, we'll transfer whatever kind of food or water that may be needed to our affiliate food banks on the eastern side of the state. Mm. And then we also will be able to trade product, if you will, because there'll be a manufacturer that's in a different area that has an abundance of an item, and we have an abundance of something else, and we'll say, okay, well, in order to give everybody a good mixture of food to choose from, then we'll a lot of times do that as well. We'll go ahead and just trade a load for this for a load of that, and then everyone gets to share with different, or having a good variety of food.
So, give us an example of some of the agencies that receive the food from the food bank.
Well, we have over 650 of them.
Oh,
so there's that are within the 19 counties that we serve.
That's a lot. Wow.
So there's Loaves and Fishes that's actually here in Charlotte. They have various locations. They're one of our what we call partner agencies.
Right, partner agencies. Okay.
And then
what, American Red Cross?
Yes.
D1 as well?
Yes,
Yeah,
right,
I would imagine.
Right. The York County Council of Aging in York County comes to my mind.
Right.
But we have over in that as well. Well, the YWCAs, for example, which are their regional headquarters, are right here on Park Road.
So it's safe to say that the food that you obtain from a middleman food broker or directly from a retailer comes to Second Harvest Food Bank, which then goes to your provider agencies. None of our viewers would actually pick up the phone or visit Second Harvest Food Bank and say, can I get some canned food? They would go through one of your provider agencies, right?
Yes, that's correct. Okay. They can call or go to our website. Okay. They can go to our website, and we have what we call on our website an agency finder.
Okay.
You would just click on agencies, and then there's a drop down, and then it'll give you the instructions on finding an agency, and then the easiest way to find an agency or agencies close to where you're residing would be through your zip code. So
Okay.
if you're looking for a pantry to get grocery items for your home, you would just simply type in pantry and your zip code, and it'll give you a drop down and a listing of all of the agencies that are within that zip code. You would want anyone that would access that, they would need to call that agency first, because even though they're affiliated with us, they set their own hours.
Okay.
So that you want to be sure that whenever you do go there, or call more than one, and then find out what their hours are in order to, and their procedures for being able to receive food.
Some could even deliver, no? I mean, depends on the
Yes.
provider agency.
Yeah, but, well, right. Well, in the case of our senior box program, for example, you know,
Right.
we have a senior box program that we've been doing for many, many years, and those are delivered to agencies then that deliver to the seniors.
Wow. So you've been involved how long?
I've been with the food bank nearly 10 years.
Wow.
Before what I'm currently doing right now, I used to oversee all the child hunger programs. And that is our food bank's number one goal, as it always has been the number one goal, even before I started with the food bank, is to eliminate childhood hunger in our region.
Wow.
There's over 180,000 children that are in our region, our 19 county service area, that are at risk of hunger. And that is a food bank term that means that child, adult, or senior, that term applies to all three. That person can go without having any access to food, or not having any food to eat at all for 24 hours. So that's what
Wow.
at risk of hunger
So
means. Yes.
your group touches a lot of lives in our region. I mean, I know you're dealing through 600 plus provider agencies, but you have any kind of feel for the end result of the impact of the food you're getting out through the provider agencies? I mean, are you touching 30,000 people, 10,000 people?
Well, last year we distributed 45 million pounds of food.
Wow.
Through 650 partner agencies in 19 counties.
Holy
And,
cow.
and to answer your question of how many, we feel that through, we've done research on this for many, many years, and we track it. So we are, through those 650 agencies, we are getting to nearly 500,000 people
Good gracious.
within the 19 counties that we serve.
Wow.
And that's pretty close to what the amount of population that's living in poverty in those 19 counties, which is about 517,000 people that are in our 19 counties that are living at or below the poverty level.
Really? I
Yes.
think a lot of viewers wouldn't know that. How many people, even in our region, as rich as America is, needs help. We all need help at times.
Yes.
And certainly Second Harvest Food Bank is a facilitator for that type of help through the provider agencies.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right. And the people can also call as well, but the website's also available. So if you don't have web access, call.
What is the website address?
It's
Which I'm sure is going to be provided
Right.
online, but
It's www.secondharvest. It's all one word. Second Harvest. www.secondharvestmetrolina.org.
.org, because you're a nonprofit.
Yes, that's correct.
That's great.
And the only way that we can distribute, since we're talking about nonprofits,
Yeah.
the only way that we're legally allowed, and this is for all the food banks throughout the country, the only way that we're legally allowed to provide food resources to our partner agencies, those partner agencies have to be a nonprofit organization that has a 501c3 tax designation like ourselves.
Okay.
So they make application to the food bank, and there's a process that we go through in order to be sure that they're going to be an agency that's going to be able to meet the need in the community with whatever they're providing food for, either a soup kitchen or a pantry or a child hunger program.
So is there a board or an approval council that sits down, and if a new potential provider agency makes application, they have to get approved
Yes.
by that board?
Yes, there is a committee, as we call it, and it meets at the very most once a quarter, but usually once, or not once, but twice or three times a year, sometimes 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And the committee's made up of half of the people are employees of the food bank. The other half are people that do not work for the food bank.
Right.
Right. So, and then it's just a process of going through, making sure all the application is filled out correctly, making sure we have to do a site visit, as we call it, before we even goes to the committee to be sure that everything is set up at that facility, to make sure things are the way they should be. They have a cooking facility, they have an area to clean, they have, it has to be safe and secure, you have enough of staff to do what they're going to be able to do. And then it goes to a committee. And
are churches part of that? I mean,
there's many churches. I don't know the exact number out of the 650, but a lot of them are churches, and most of the churches usually have a pantry.
Right.
That they have hours during the week where people can pick up groceries. And some of the churches I've even been to, or some of them have a pantry and a soup kitchen.
Right.
It just depends whether they have a setup in order to accommodate that.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We've had some guests on the show that are probably provider agencies for Second Harvest Food Bank, and a lot of great churches, a lot of great outlets in the Charlotte and surrounding markets for people that want to go to pick up food or have food delivered, which is great. Yeah.
Yes, we live in a very generous community. And
Yeah.
I've always known that through the time, even before I worked for the food bank.
What percentage, if it's not confidential, of your money comes through private donations versus corporations and all?
I don't have that statistic, but I do have our total what we call our admin costs is only about 2.5–3%.
Wow.
So
really
yeah,
good.
we're a very lean operation for being able to distribute 45 million pounds of food.
Yeah.
Our job is to get it in, sort it, inspect it, and get it back out. So it does not remain at our food bank very, very long at all.
Wow. And what are the kind of different food types? I mean, I know there's many different types, but I mean, are we talking fresh produce? Of course, canned goods, which
Right.
can stay on a shelf for a period of time. But are you getting fresh produce as well, like lettuce and tomatoes and oranges?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're receiving, like for example, from Dole Fresh Vegetables in Bessemer City. Walmart also donates some fresh produce, and also Albert's Organics, for example. We're getting in fresh produce. We're getting in dairy. We have refrigeration for produce and dairy. We also have a lot of protein coming in through our retail pickup program with our 12 trucks that we do have in the area that are able to get to a lot of the retailers. So we get a lot of frozen protein products in, whether it be beef, pork, chicken, fish. It's remained, or it's frozen at the store level. We pick it up, keep it frozen. Once we get it back, we keep it in our 5 below freezer until we're able to distribute it to the shoppers that are coming in from the various agencies in 19 counties.
19 counties, that's a lot.
Right.
And where are you located here in Charlotte?
Our main facility is not far from here, about a mile and a half. It's just where Old Statesville Road, 277 and Graham Street all kind of converge. There's a left-hand turn you can make back into the North Carolina Music Factory, and we're just in that complex right behind that, or just adjacent to that street. And we share a parking lot with Crisis Assistance Ministry. I'm
sure the Music Factory donates lemonade and things like that for Second Harvest Food Bank.
Now that you got me talking about where the location is, we rely heavily on volunteers. That's why our admin hours are as low as they are. Our costs, I should say, are as low as it is.
Right.
Our volunteers, we had well over 100,000 volunteer hours last year.
Wow.
So if you took that figure and took it and times it by a livable wage, that would double our staff. We only have 35 people on our staff. So we could not do everything that we said that we can do by getting out 45 million pounds a year to our 650 partner agencies if it were not for our volunteers. So I highly encourage anyone that wants to volunteer at the food bank. We have hours that run from 9 till 12 Monday through Friday. We have hours in the afternoon Monday through Friday from 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock. The primary job or activity that you would be doing would be sorting food, non-food, because we do get a lot of non-food in as well.
What's non-food?
Non-food would be items like toilet tissue, Kleenexes, paper towels, cleaning supplies. And those are all items that anyone that's on food stamps cannot purchase those items with. So we get quite a bit of non-food in, and then we sort that as well, and it's made available to all of our partner agencies. Wow. So we need people to help sort that as well. We also started through our senior box program a pet food bank about 3 or 4, almost 4 years ago.
Really?
And we discovered through our senior box program, and I have dogs, that a lot of the seniors were using their food to feed their pets, either their dog or their cat. So we decided, okay, let's start collecting cat food and pet food, sometimes bird food and fish food. So that program was going very well.
I bet.
I also encourage as well food drives, because about 7, almost 8% of our total of what we're able to distribute comes from food drives. And you can do a specific food drive either for pet food or a food drive specifically for our backpack program, which I can go into and talk about briefly. And or you can do just a general specific to just a item, like a peanut butter food drive, for example, was just recently held. So we make all the arrangements to have the barrels. We have these red barrels that can be delivered to your organization, company. And then once they're filled, or if you have an end date on it, we just simply come back and pick them up, and we tally all the weight and get that weight back to you as to a total how much food was actually collected during that time period.
So if a company out there, whether you work for one or you know of one, that wants to contribute, there's many different ways. And a red barrel would be one way where you could call up Second Harvest Food Bank, they could deliver a red barrel, which you could provide with canned goods, probably. No?
No, the barrels will be empty, and then they could request, we have posters you can put on the side.
Gotcha.
That'll say food drive, and then the cans or the dry goods are put into the barrels, and they're filled up, and then they simply give us a call, and they say, okay, this barrel's filled up, or this is the end date, we need them all picked back up. And then we just tally all that weight for that organization, and then they're able to get that total back as to how much they donated for that food drive. So we're starting to come into food drive season, although we like to have food drives all year round.
Sure. Well, what about the backpack program you were going to?
Well, the Child Hunger programs, our fastest growing Child Hunger program is our backpack program. We started our backpack program 9 years ago. We now have 110 backpack programs in 16 out of our 19 counties. Wow. We could have many more, but there has to be a revenue source attached with that program in order to sustain the program indefinitely.
Right.
So we partner with agencies, or in this case schools, or the recipients, or elementary schools, or the recipients of the backpack program food. The backpacks are filled at the food bank. We're putting in non-perishable food items. We purchase all of the food. We're not using salvage food.
Okay.
We do this for 2 reasons. One, we have the revenue source to sustain it.
Yeah.
Secondly, we're able to pick and choose the items that we're putting in there. So we're trying to elevate their level of protein and fruits and vegetables as much as you possibly can while remaining non-perishable, because we know that children that are at risk of hunger are not normally getting the best food possible when they do get food. So we're putting items like peanut butter in there, cans of chunk chicken,
Wow.
cereal bars fortified with calcium. You're going to have a dinner entree, vegetable soup, for example.
Do you have a nutritionist or dietitian that works with you on
Well,
those types?
we don't actually have someone on staff that's paid to do that, but we've consulted with various nutritionists and dietitians. And we have a rotation of different items that go in there, so that way the child does not get the same kind of, or the same contents each week.
Wow.
The program's grown over the years very, very quickly. It's very popular. That's one of the volunteer projects that can be requested to do at the food bank as well, because we need a lot of people to pack those backpacks. And it's usually about at least twice a week we need people to pack children's backpacks, since we're sending out over 105,000 backpacks a year.
105.
Right.
Just the branch that you work with.
Yes, that's correct. Right.
Holy
all
cow.
all of the backpacks that we. And there's no. I just want to add this here, if I could. There's no mandate or directive from Feeding America that says that we have to have any child hunger programs. But that's always been our #1 priority at the Second Harvest Food Bank of Metrolina, is to eliminate childhood hunger. We started immediately whenever Feeding America unrolled the program, the backpack program. So we got on board with writing the grants, getting the community to know about the program, to donate money in order to support the program.
Right.
And that's why we've been able to grow it to the point where we are, and it still needs to continue to grow, because the need that's out there is still very high.
I think it's an important point to mention. We mentioned briefly when you started, and that is, for our viewers, we're not fully aware of the fact of how many people are out there in our local region that need help, that need assistance, that we, as good citizens of this region, can help with. So I think what you do as an individual and what your company does, Second Harvest Food Bank, is exceptional. Nonprofit. For those that can do it, please give assistance, give time, give energy. Time is probably even equally as important as money and food. So David Brown, I would like to thank you for coming on the show tonight here at Aging with Attitude. I would like to thank our viewers and all family members for being and watching the show, and we look forward to seeing you on our next show of Aging with Attitude. Good evening.